what's happening at Utopia Farms today. Probably going to be the only people in all of Ontario not cutting second cut today. That's good chewing of the cud. We know you're doing well. So those are all the features we're looking for in a Dorset. These guys have it. How many of those investments pay back in a year or less? A good ram is going to help anybody. Let's get started. Sometimes I feel like lately our channel is the doom and gloom channel. It's a beautiful, beautiful sunny day. The humidity is way, way less today as well. And we've got all this equipment around the yard, just ready to get that second cut done. And we got one tractor here that's broken. We can't send it in to for repairs because it is how we're feeding the sheep right now, because our skid steer over a week later and it's still not back. And this skid steer, we need to stack those wrap bales because it's a lot finer movements and stuff for getting them stacked really well and not nudging and ripping the plastic on other bales. And it's not here, so that means if it's not here, we can't cut second cut, and we have a perfect window for it right now. We're probably going to be the only people in all of Ontario not cutting second cut today, and it's yeah, just awful that that's happening, because you know how infrequent and rare these windows have been this year, so that's really disappointing. We tried to borrow some skid steer from a neighbor and they wouldn't lend it, so we're just waiting. Everything's sitting here, the mower, and yeah, we're just in hold mode right now. As soon as the skid steer gets repaired, then we're immediately gonna fix this tractor. We can't have both down at once though, or we totally can't function, and that's the problem with technology. We don't have a lot of technology on this farm, but when you're dealing with round bales, you need to have tractors that can move them. They're not like little square bales that we used to have in the olden days where you could toss them out by hand. And the same problems happen to people with TMR mixers. If that equipment goes down, they can't feed their sheep. So technology has made our life easier in some ways, but only when things are going well. So let's get in and do chores. As I peek in the doorway here. Hi, that's good chewing of the cud. We know you're doing well. And this guy's got his head in the trough. These two have never missed a beat. They're doing extremely well. They're not friendly, but they're not really, really crazy runaway sheep, which Dorsets can be known for. So we like this disposition. They're not in our face, but they're not going through the windows either. Hi, buddies. You guys are beautiful. We're extremely pleased with these two. Someone asked why we're really liking these two, and it's for the thing we talk about with our sheep all the time. It's for the capacity. By capacity, we mean what that body encompasses: the width, the length, the depth. They've got it all in spades, and so does the new Suffolk ram we bought. And those are the most important features for us. And of course, fantastic legs, testicles, and breed character. If I were to ask you what kind of sheep these are, pretty well everyone would say that's a Dorset. And I'm finding with a lot of breeds, especially Dorsets, sometimes you can look at them and say, is it a Southdown? Is it a Dorset? Is it a Rambouillet? Is it a Dordo? But these guys, there's no doubt about it. So those are all the features we're looking for in a Dorset. These guys have it. We're really looking forward to using them in about a month. And here we are with Luther. Hi, Luther. How you feeling today? Hey? Are you feeling okay there? He's chewing his cud. He's still quite the nervous little boy, so I don't stress him too much. Hi, buddy. Hi. You have water? I'll get you some more water. But while we're looking at the rams, I should talk about the prices of the rams. As you can see, Luther here was $4,200. And the 2 Dorset rams we bought were each, I think, over $3,000 as well. A lot of people will say they can't afford that type of money for a ram, and that it's just not feasible to spend that kind of money on a ram. But I would like to argue that these rams are worth every penny, whether you're a big farmer like us or even a small farmer, because you should always be looking for improvement. And some people will say, well, you know, I don't see too much difference between that ram and the other, but there is huge improvements every time you buy in new genetics. And the first thing is the unrelatedness factor. And diversity in your flock. A lot of even purebred breeders get a couple of rams and they use them over and over and over again. They rotate them so the inbreeding is low, but it's always there. So if you're trying to sell breeding stock to other people, they're going to eventually say, you know, we've got those genetics, we need something fresh. So you always want to freshen up your stock for resale as well as for yourself. A ram like him, in today's market, just a regular good breeding stock ram is going to go for between $1,000 and $1,500. Even $2,000 is quite common nowadays for a ram. If you use them and sell 4 of his rams at $1,000 a piece, he's more than paid for himself in just 4 lambs. And even as market lambs, this year we were getting $450 for market lambs. If you do the math, it doesn't take long for that ram to pay himself back just on the cost of selling a few of their offspring. But it's not all about that. It's about when you sell the offspring, they should be better because you've selected for improvement qualities. Like in his case, honestly, Luther, I'm still not finding any faults. He's got perfect legs, perfect back, perfect length, perfect width, perfect depth, testicles. Like, he's beautiful. Like, it's hard to find anything wrong, and you're going to hope to be putting those traits into your flock. But even if you got a lesser priced ram that wasn't maybe perfect, because to be honest, it's almost impossible to find perfect. But if you have a flock and you know your sheep, you know what your flock is missing, because every flock is missing something, be it better legs, better loin, better rump, something. When you add those qualities onto your new stock lambs from your ram, your lambs, even if they're going to market, should be fetching more at market, because even the buyers of market lambs are wanting to buy the best lambs they can get, and it will show in your lambs by quicker growth, more muscling. More muscling equals more money in your pocket. A good ram is a no-brainer. Even that $10,000 ram at the Classic, Luther's half-brother, the lamb, he sounds very expensive, and I would never suggest borrowing money to buy a sheep, because the reality is they could die, and that's the only downside. But if you can get the money, I mean, for a few bags of corn seed, you're going to pay thousands and thousands of dollars, hoping that your corn grows up and doesn't die, and that you'll make some money off your corn. But with rams, it's a much longer term investment than corn seeds, because if all goes well, and it should, he's going to influence your flock for years and years and put money in your pocket. So that $10,000 ram went to a really small farm. I think he has, say he had 10 sheep, 10 ewes, but if each ewe produced 1 ram lamb, and they were all humdinger ram lambs, and he could easily sell 10 ram lambs for at $1,000 a piece, which is low, and he would be paid back in 1 year. Think about all the investments you make in your life and how many of those investments pay back in a year or less. Practically none. Usually investments are long-term things. With sheep and a good ram, it's a very, very short-term investment for you to get really, really good gains. But I hear it all the time when people come in. I don't have $1,000 for a ram. I can't pay that. I can't afford that. I'm not in. Some of them you can explain it to them, and others you can't. But while Arnie's got him, I'll get his pail of water and give him some fresh water. He's in a good spot here because he does have lots of sheep he can see now, so he's not alone anymore. And of course Arnie's been catching him and walking him around the yard. Like every time I look at him, Arnie's walking him around, so he'll get used to things. But yeah, so as I was saying, that little ram lamb, he would pay back for that guy quickly too. It's just hard to swallow the initial cost. So as I'm doing chores, Arnie's walking Luther around. Max, can you please come here? Lie down. There. Want to go get some food? We got some fresh hay for him.
Yep, my new hay for him.
So, see how he does with that. Starting to get hot now that it's warm, the day wears on.
Come on.
But the way to look at a ram is long-term improvement, and on not only your sheep but on your bottom line.
Oh, here's those lambs.
And always it's about yeah, doesn't matter if you're a commercial breeder or a purebred breeder. A good ram is going to help anybody, and the payback is very quick.
I don't think this guy's as good as I ran.
Yeah, right. He's probably the best ram we've had here, just because he's more put together. He has all the things in one package, and like I mentioned before, it's really hard to get everything in one package. So, of course, because of that, we're way more nervous about this ram because he's kind of a one-of-a-kind. I know the ram lamb sold for more money, and the reason he chose the ram lamb over the yearling was the fleece coloring. The ram lamb still had black in his wool apparently, but not quite as much as this guy. But like I said, you can see him. The amount of black in his wool is just basically bleeding around the neck there. It's not, I've seen it where they're black all over the body, and we do have some ewes that have black all over the body. It tends to go back to our British bloodlines. I don't know why. And I think that's the case with everybody who has black fibers. I think some countries now are paying no attention to the fleece anymore. And if you're not looking at the fleece and you're only looking at conformation and body, then yeah, that black fiber is going to creep in. I'm actually happy that we got the yearling instead of the lamb now. And the reason for that is ram lambs have to get to this age of the yearling, and it can be a struggle. Ram lambs are way more susceptible to diseases and parasites, and you have to feed them just right. And on our farm, you know, we've got lots of rams, lots of sheep. There's lots of competition here. Probably it's in our best interest to buy the yearling. He is what he is. He's set now. Someone else fed him extremely well. Newton Suffolk, I think their name was. And yeah, they have beautiful sheep. Yeah, so they've raised him up, saved us that problem, saved us the worry of the lamb falling apart or dying, which is way more likely to happen with a ram lamb. Not only that, when you're talking that kind of money, it's still a really good payback if they breed. However, a ram lamb realistically can only service 20 ewes, and a yearling can realistically service about 50 ewes. So you're going to get that payback just that little bit quicker. Keeping a sheep alive is always the biggest challenge, but keeping a yearling alive is usually a lot easier than keeping a ram lamb alive. So, and not only that, as they're growing, if anything affects the lamb, like it gets sore mouth, it gets parasites, it's really hot like it is now and he's just not eating right, it totally affects their growth. It can stunt them, it can make them grow wonky, like if the lamb's really long, they can go dippy, they can start to fall down on their pasterns. The nice thing about buying in a yearling ram or older is that what you see is what you get. Now it's up to you. You keep him well fed and looked after, and structurally he's not going to change for you. So I'm actually really glad, and to be honest, the yearling was my first choice all along, but people were saying that he had black fiber and were scaring me a bit, but totally happy that we chose him. I think that's the best fit for our farm, and we're really looking forward to breeding groups and seeing what he does for us. Okay, he's back in his pen. They got a nice fresh bale of hay. He's eating that and feeling happy. You can tell we're a little more of a worrywart with this guy because we only bought one. And if you watch our videos, you'll know that we tend to always buy two. Just so we have a safety backup in case something does happen to one. Normally we do bring two in just in case. It makes us feel a little safer because we've never had two die, knock on wood, but we have had one die. And like I say, these animals coming so far are at high risk. We wanted to buy both of them. Our whole goal was to buy the ram lamb and the yearling, but as soon as the $9,500 for the ram lamb came up, we knew that it was only going to be the purchase of one. I'm trying to make dinner, but Arnie's obsessed with this guy. We were going to call him Luther, but now someone says that we should call him Laertes, which is a really cool name, and she gave a history of it, or Legend, because he's going to be a legend on our farm. Hi, buddy. Is Arnie obsessed with you?
What?
He's obsessed with you.
I just went to catch him and he jumped right in the manger, right over top of the pipe.
And yeah, that's how he breaks a leg, Arnie.
Well, I didn't mean to, but he doesn't want to be caught.
Well, no wonder. He wants to go in with those girls. I don't know why you just.
I just took a bale of hay down, a rat bale, the first bale, and I cut the side open. It smells like $1 million, and he ate it right away.
Good boy. You're standing a little funny, honey.
Straighten out those feet.
There you go. You're very handsome. You see, he sees his friend there. He keeps looking in the glass and he thinks it's his buddy.
It'd be funny if you ran that last, eh?
Yeah, it'd be hilarious. But I don't want broken legs, Arnie, so stop harassing him. If you're gonna let him go with someone, let him go with those ewes that are in there, the Suffolks.
There's 5 in there.
There's 6. Should be 6.
Then the Dorsets have to come out.
Yeah, well, they can just go on the other side where he was. He'll be a lot happier.
Well, why don't you put the Suffolks in this side of the manger where it's going to look past lower with him?
Yeah.
And leave the Dorsets on that side.
Yep. Like, he's going to have a proper group shortly, but there's no reason he can't be in with those ewes. Well, to end the day, I'm going to give you guys an update on Aiden. He's still in ICU. He's still struggling to breathe oxygen on his own. So they're helping him with that. He's no longer on antibiotics. They want to see if the infection is gone on its own now. He's had a long course of it, and he shouldn't need it now anyway. They don't know if he's got well, they actually know he's got a hole in his heart. They don't know if they're going to operate on it or if it has anything to do with the problems he's having. They suspect he now has a collapsed lung. You would think all these things would be something that people nowadays could easily find out, but it seems like when they're in hospital, nothing's that easy. So, yeah, it's been a week and a half, and there hasn't been a lot of progress. It's frustrating. You want it all to be over with, but it just keeps hanging on, and Aiden, of course, is more frustrated than anyone. He's getting really tired of being poked and prodded and tested and being unable to move out of his bed. And he says the worst thing is the food is just terrible. And he can't sleep at all because they're constantly poking him even in the night. So yeah, it's not a good situation. But we're gonna just keep on keeping on, and I will keep giving you updates. So already I'm getting eaten by mosquitoes out here. So thanks for joining us. Please be sure to join us again tomorrow for the next episode at Utopia Farms. Bye for now.